Well, the title of today's discussion is exploring the present and the future of streaming technology. so, Jason, I know you brought your crystal ball for the future, uh,
I did.
but before we crack out the crystal ball, we bring out the crystal ball. Let's let's talk about the present. Why don't we just jump in and I'll let you kind of pick the where we are today. There's all kinds of trends. What comes to mind, when I think about this is you can't trip into the front door of NAB or IBC or you know
Yeah,
Mile High
exactly.
Video, or I mean, whatever. And name the conference and name the trade show, and not see the words plastered everywhere. Ultra low latency, Mock, WebRTC.
Generative AI. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and the list goes on and on and on and on, fast, and all this stuff, right? And we're laughing and sort of poking fun, not because any of those technologies or technology references or capability references are funny and not useful and valuable, but um, but I think we also can acknowledge that there's a lot of words being plastered on walls,
Oh, yeah.
and not too much following behind. So what is the state of all those things?
Oh, my. Yes. Woo.
Yeah, all right, there we go.
I mean,
And you have 11 minutes to answer that question. So go.
I'll continue to beat the drum that the streaming video tech stack's a mess.
Yeah,
It's gotten better. Don't get me
yeah,
wrong. So there are definitely and have been improvements, but it relies on technology that's not necessarily just in the industry, right? So
yeah.
because it's software based, the tech stack is software based. There's lots of changes within the way that we develop web-based software and
Mm,
middleware and things like that, that are impacting how we're building software for the tech stack. So it's messy. We're trying to fix that. So when we look at technologies like Mock and or QUIC, so for example, our networking transport group has been doing lab testing of comparing QUIC versus TCP for video delivery
mhm.
under different circumstances and in different network conditions. So different network control algorithms, different compression algorithms, and you know, QUIC is not the silver bullet. Like fancy that. There's no
Yeah,
silver bullet. We always seem to be looking for one, but
yeah,
there's not. So
yeah,
when we look at the state of things today, I think the true drivers of priorities are things like reliability,
yeah,
resilience,
yeah,
scalability.
yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. It's the same things that we talk about with broadcast television. Yeah, that's because I remember this one thing back from my days at Limelight. BBC was, we're talking about BBC, and BBC was like, listen, we don't care about all the bells and whistles, but it just has to work.
Yeah,
So somebody can sit down, press the play button like they do today on the couch, and press the
yeah,
remote control on button. Just has to play and has to
yeah,
play flawlessly. And let's get
yeah,
rid of the buffering and the jittering and all of this other stuff. But
yeah.
obviously, streaming is different. It's going over a best effort network. It's
That's
not
right.
it's not a self-contained network, and so there's lots of issues that you have to contend with. You don't have to contend with when you're literally delivering signal.
Yeah.
Um, and that kind of sums up where we are today, right? We are
Mhm.
struggling and trying to figure out how do we make this scalable, and so
Yeah.
that involves things like edge resources.
Mhm.
But how do you host edge resources in the best possible manner for things like live streaming?
Mhm.
We just spun up an edge group to start
Mm.
asking and dealing with those questions. There are so many elements and components of the delivery chain that have not been
Yeah.
addressed yet.
Yeah.
And then we have to look at things like the state of content delivery networks. How are they going to fit in this, you know, ecosystem that is starting to see more operator networks like Comcast and Verizon and Orange and Telefonica and all these people launching their own CDNs in
Mhm.
order to better deliver to their end users. And
Mhm.
gosh, that makes a whole lot of sense. If I'm Disney, why do I want a relationship with a bunch of third party networks when I can just go straight to the
Yeah.
eyeball networks?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
seeing some of the technology like open caching kind of shape around these conversations that are happening at the business side. And that's the funny thing. All these words that we talk about, like fast and all this stuff, the media loves to jump on words that reflect how they think people are watching or experiencing something different. But they don't pay attention to technology underneath. Fast is nothing new. Fast is zero new.
Exactly.
We were doing pseudo live, which is what fast is. We were doing pseudo live 15 years ago. It's not anything truly new and exciting. It's just a different way to package stuff. And so we see all these words, and it's just like, is that really reflective of what's happening underneath, which is where all the hard work is being done? All of those smart engineers and the smart software developers and architects all across these amazing companies, from the big guys like Netflix and Apple and Amazon and Google, all the way down to the startups. They're trying to fix or build the better technology underneath all of those cool words. And I want to talk about Mock for a second. In particular, Mock is
please do.
So that's a weird story, right? So Google, comes up with this idea of QUIC based on HTTP3. Let's use this, and then they're like, well, you know what? This would probably be best if we stuck this in the industry, and so they give it to IETF, and it becomes IETF QUIC because they start working on it, but Google's like, it's not happening fast enough. Like we're using this and we need these features, and so then it became Google QUIC, and they have since aligned, which is great. There's just one QUIC now. But then QUIC was not really designed to deliver video. And so along comes this idea of media over QUIC. So how do we tune, optimize, and build features in QUIC that are specific to media? Like my favorite feature there is a TCP fallback. What happens when video goes to the enterprise and they're blocking UDP? Whoops. We still want people to watch a video, so let's have a fallback mechanism that you can configure for a TCP-based stream. So Mock is a good thing, right? So it's an improvement, but QUIC and Mock are really like, they're kind of like the next generation of WebRTC. It's like the WebRTC that WebRTC should have been, because WebRTC was never designed for video.
Exactly.
So again, all these things under the hood that that we're trying to do as an industry, whether it's Mock or it's context-aware encoding or it's AI, it's what we're trying to really do is ensure a seamless, reliable, resilient, scalable infrastructure. That's what all of this work is intended to do. And there's other work people are doing on viewer experiences and multi-camera and all these cool features and AR and immersive and XR, and that's all great, but that all relies on the stuff under the hood. So I still consider us to be in a building phase. We are there are services that are running, obviously commercial services, and in a lot of ways they're duct tape and bubble gum. And I say that as they are basically will do anything they need to do to make the service operate because they're generating revenue.
That's right.
Not be the best way to do it from a resiliency, reliability, scalability standpoint. But you got to start somewhere and you got to make it work. And so my hat's off to all of these streaming platforms that are making it work. But then our growth and our membership and the projects we're doing and the amount of work that we're doing shows that they all realize there might be a better way to do. There might be a more standardized way to do this. Let's all get together and make that.